Asia Symposium Season 3. We are thrilled to have you all here today for this landmark gathering of forward thinking marketers, strategists, and technology leaders, exclusively presented by the Trade Desk. Can we have a huge round of applause before we start? Today, we explore a theme that couldn't be more relevant in our rapidly evolving landscape: the new age of consumer first advertising, privacy driven personalization, and performance in an omni channel world. In a time where attention is fleeting and the trust is hardened, it is imperative that we, as an industry, rethink how we connect with audiences meaningfully, respectfully, and effectively. This symposium brings together some of the most innovative minds and influential voices shaping the future of programmatic advertising, omnichannel engagement, and data driven storytelling. We are excited for the insightful sessions, dynamic panel discussions, and powerful networking moments that lie ahead. Once again, thank you for being here. Let's get started. And to set the tone for the insightful evening, please join me in welcoming the man whose vision continues to shape platforms like these, Rahul Puri, founder of Agency Reporter, for the opening remarks. Can we have a huge round of applause, guys?
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the third edition of Programmatic Asia Symposium here in Gurugram. And after the tremendous success of our earlier editions in Mumbai and Delhi, it's truly exciting to see this community come together again, this time in a more dynamic and transformative phase of our industry. A special thanks to the Trade Desk for being our presenting sponsor and for their continued support in advancing meaningful conversations around programmatic advertising across Asia. As we all know, the world of digital advertising is at an inflection point. We are operating in a space where privacy expectations, consumer trust, and regulatory framework are reshaping how we connect with audiences. This year's theme, the new age of consumer-first advertising in a privacy-driven personalization and performance in an omnichannel world, reflects exactly that shift. We are no longer just talking about performance metrics and automation. We're talking about responsible innovation. We're talking about how brands can personalize experiences without compromising on trust. And we're talking about how to win in a world that demands both precision and privacy. Throughout today's session, we'll explore critical themes that define our times, leveraging the open internet for better audience engagement, building resilient strategies around first-party data, and understanding the renewed power of contextual advertising in a multi-platform ecosystem. Whether you're a marketer, a tech provider, or a media strategist, this is your space to challenge ideas, share insight, and rethink the future. At Agency Reporter, our mission has always been to spotlight the trends and voices shaping the advertising and marketing landscape. And today's symposium is a reflection of that commitment to help the industry navigate change with clarity, creativity, and confidence. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the movement. Let's dive into the day of rich discussions, actionable takeaways, and bold perspectives. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, Rahul. And before we move forward, we have a video to present in front of you by the Trade Desk. Can we have the video, please? And now it's time to hear from the driving force behind our exclusive presenting partner. Please welcome a leader who has been at the forefront of transforming digital advertising in the India. Dhruv Dhawan, Vice President of Revenue India at the Trade Desk, to deliver the keynote address. Can we have a huge round of applause?
Hello, hello, hi. Can you hear me right back there? Okay. Firstly, thank you all for coming on a Friday afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Dhruv. As our host has announced, I have just about joined the trade desk 7 weeks back, prior to which I was with the world of the OTT leader, JioStar, Hotstar, before which at Google. So interesting, like she said, digital advertising has been part of my DNA over the last many years. It's a pleasure to be here at the Programmatic Symposium and very excited about this year's theme, which is the new age of consumer first advertising. At the trade desk, you know, our philosophy is simple but powerful. We are in the business of building bridges, not tunnels. And what do I mean by that is that in this world where there is fragmented attention and the choices that we have are largely between walled gardens and beyond, we need the brands to come together basically to focus on getting more choice, control, and transparency, right? And hence, we build the bridge between the brands and the open internet, and also between platforms and performance. We're living in this attention economy. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. But what is this all about? India today has close to about 900 million people or devices plus people, no matter how you look at it. But this data by Kantar, which really talks about the number of people who are today going around in the internet between the walled gardens and the open internet. But what's really happening is because of so many touch points across mobile screens in the room, I'm sure some of you are probably already figuring, like one guy is still on the phone for some reason, but that's okay. He's doing a voice call, I think. But beyond that, I think if you're on your phone or omni-channel, you have the DOH platforms or TV screens, today this whole structure of multiple touch points is making it very complex to understand this consumer and their behavior. And what this leads to is not all hours spent online are the same. What do I mean by that? I could get up in the morning, watch news, listen to Spotify as music, but at the same time I could be scrolling. I'm sure all of us do that. Am I spending the same kind of attention, focus with the same screen, with the same channel, with the same product? And it really differs from time of day to type of engagement to the consumer state of mind. So there's a lot of complexity today because what is really happening is we are spending 9 hours today on the internet. Most of us in this room, I'm hoping, are using those 9 hours to work in front of our desktops, but a lot of the time we are also getting pulled in between the desktop, the phone, there's WhatsApp, there's messages, there's possible news. I mean, when the war broke out, there was just so much of that attention getting taken away. But today, if you look at just this data point with Global Web Index, this time is spent a lot more outside the walled gardens than within. So 73% of time is spent between music and podcasts, online TV, gaming, news, like I said, which is online press, and of course, there is still a significant time that goes on YouTube and Meta and other platforms. So let's look at the day of a life of Mansi. So Mansi is an average, like any consumer, anyone in the room, and she wakes up in the morning, gets to the gym. Hopefully, most of us try and do that every morning. And while listening to her Spotify playlist, she also then gets to the office, and hopefully, as Preeta promised, within this next month, you'll see our advertising like you are here on DOHs, if you're in Cyber Hub or Cyber City. You come back home, maybe grab an episode on White Lotus on Hotstar or JioStar, and then again, how do you really move back into researching and getting back on the large screen towards the end of the day? So really, there is this whole complex evolving play that's happening in a consumer's life. Now, this complex play has basically made the life difficult for advertisers and agency partners and brands. So who's my target consumer? Where do I get to them? How do I measure success? This is a question which has been there for many years, but it's only becoming more and more important that brands and advertisers and agency partners understand how do we address this more succinctly and effectively. And India today is at that pivotal point. Brands and marketeers, and I'll come to the next slide, really talk about the challenges in a slide that's beautifully made. You'll understand the complexity of marketing, but at the same time, there is a publisher ecosystem which is also trying to get towards getting more data driven, making sure that they have a lot of the ability for brands and advertisers to get to audiences effectively. So this is what's happening, right? Most marketers today are looking at whether it's price or ROI, which is the efficiency side of the slide, or you're looking at, hey, do I have scale, do I have value, which is more the effectiveness side. And everyone is dabbling between multiple of these areas to understand what's the best formula to actually go ahead and implement. And I'll take an example of my own journey. I started many years back. I will not give the year because that will give my age, though everything is on LinkedIn, so you can go search. But I joined the world of traditional advertising, right? My first project was to actually measure effectiveness of hoarding in Bangalore, right? This was Brigade Road, for those who have been in Bangalore, and this was right when you're coming down Brigade Road, right at the top. That was one spot which my ex-employer Airtel had taken. And the idea was to figure out, how do you know this is working? We're spending a bomb on this. Well, okay, so you measure what's the footfall, some assessment, stand with literally a counter and measure how many people are going up and down that road, what's the height, what's the multiple, let's say, streets that are leading to that hoarding, and have some bit of calculation to say this is the effectiveness of this place, right? From there to today, life has totally changed. And today, whether it's the world of programmatic, where literally you can measure every single impression, and a lot of this from the traditional side to digital advertising, which was a large part of my own career last decade, and now to the fact that there's this whole new world which consumers are spending time and can be served programmatically, right? So marketing has evolved right from the days of me measuring effectiveness of an outdoor to today, where everything is there at the click of a button. And at the trade desk, we have been very strongly and vocally talking about the open internet. And that today is actually rewriting the rules of advertising, right? What that means is that today, like most of you have spent a lot of times at being agency partners and advertisers on walled gardens, which could be social platforms like Meta or YouTube or X for that matter, or Amazon, there is a very clear view that you've all built of understanding the data that comes through, the measurement that happens. And today, Trade Desk is at this unique position to actually help you look at all of that with a transparency of a certain nature, with control and choice, and really look at the same kind of data coming in many shapes and forms across the publisher and the partner ecosystem that we have. And how are we doing that, right? One, we are a scaled alternative beyond the walled gardens. That's clearly, we don't actually work with YouTube, Meta, or Amazon today. We, of course, globally have Netflix and hopefully soon in India, but at the same time, a lot of the partners on the OTT side or gaming or audio publishers today work with us. The other thing we do is we are independent measurement is core to our DNA, which means that we don't own any of our own inventory, and hence we work with third-party measurement providers to provide a very clear understanding of how your marketing dollars are actually seeing effective outreach. And that's also a way in which we don't really measure our own homework. And finally, just in terms of campaign optimization, we've got a bunch of tools on AI, on a whole roadmap of products that we work with our publisher and data partners to help understand data better. Okay, this one is going to take a minute, Rita? Oh, yeah, okay, got it. So how many users are on the open internet, right? So this is the number, about 650 million users of the 900 million broadly. And there would be a large part which is probably still within the walled gardens. But these 650 million are your premium internet users or a part of that, right? And these are focused on largely music, gaming, connected TV, OTT, and again, sports being part of the connected TV, OTT play, and again, news is a big part of what the consumers are doing there. Okay, and they are spending more and more time outside of the walled garden. So 52% time, and this was a research which we conducted with a couple of measurement partners last year, where we looked at the time that's really getting spent on the left side, which is right behind me, and today I have Karan and Rahul from our teams who really focus on getting a lot of these publishers deep into our ecosystem so we can help serve our advertisers with their inventory and partnerships deeply. The other thing that's happening is these are very fragmented. So again, going back to my earlier slide, or where are people spending time, a lot of these apps come across through the whole day in your life with various utilities or games if you're into them, or again, OTT and connected TV as well. Beyond that, I'd like to take a minute to just talk a bit about our data partnerships. So you saw the publisher ecosystem, which is the whole part of where inventory gets served. This really is the partner ecosystem where we are creating, where we are enriching that data. So think of seed as basically a brand's first party data, or users who have gone to a certain site and you've actually looked at them as your own audience pools, right? So that's a seed in our terminology. And then we've got partnerships today. So you could own that as your first party data, as let's say P&G has PG Shop as a certain website, and they could get people coming in and dropping their mobile numbers or email IDs. That becomes the brand's first party. We work with 3 of the large retail commerce partners, Big Basket, Zepto, and a bunch more in the pipeline, where they really look at how can we enrich the audience of consumers, or they can also layer their audiences with the publisher audiences. And finally, a bunch of partners in the data enrichment space, and you will hear today from one of them in the room. Kindred is there. Actually, Audience Logic is Kindred. The name went smaller, so my bad. But yes, Anubhav and Mike are there, who will run you through the way they're looking at the space as well. And finally, we also have a bunch of measurement partners, so whether it's Double Verify, IAS, and really this partnership helps us again look at a transparent way of helping you understand your media investments. And again, as a part of the same research, one of the data points that came across was OTT CTV ads are 16% more trustworthy and more premium than the walled garden ads. And here walled gardens largely at this point is YouTube, but again, part of the research, and this, by the way, when I was at Hotstar also, we saw a lot of the research that we did kind of really build up on this specific point. So while that's happening, which is, let's say, a bulk of the user time spent is on the open internet, we still have a very small share of the ad spend, right? So 15% is the only kind of ad spend of the overall pie that's coming towards the open internet, but of 72% time spent. So there's a huge gap that we need to cover to get to a point where it's at least 50-50, right, in terms of how the spends are going in. And how are we going to help get there? We're moving from what I mentioned on the traditional planning model. There's been, of course, search, display, YouTube for many years. And now with the last few years that Trade Desk has been here shaping this, we want to move to this programmatic first thinking, audience first thinking, and really building through a privacy safe environment for you to use your ad dollars and invest with us here. Which also means that at the Trade Desk, our focus is very clearly measure what matters and also focus on everything that's connected, addressable, and measurable. Last year, that's Jeff Green. Jeff Green is our founder who founded this company in 2009 out of Ventura in LA. And he was here last year at pretty much the next door at the Oberoi, and I was fortunate enough to be in the room where I heard his vision. And if you go Google him, you'll see he's very vocal about all the focus on how can we build a safe, secure, open internet where we bring in total transparency and control for advertiser and agency partners, right? And we really believe in this empowerment, and more so today as publisher ecosystems are getting complex, CPMs are at a all-time, well, not low, but definitely there could be a lot more that premium inventory can command out there. There is today a need for a player like us to come and shape that deeply for both the advertiser's value as well as the publisher ecosystem. And here's the difference, right? To summarize, again, this was more the work that the trade desk team before I joined did last year. It puts us into a very unique opportunity, right? So the way to remember this is India is amazing. So India, I for independent, like we are an independent DSP. We do not have our own and operated inventory, unlike an Amazon or Google. And hence there is no black box, which means that we do pass enough data for you to see how your media dollars go across the publishers, across your data partnerships. And again, a lot of this means that it's totally data driven in the way the data flows back. And again, the power of our platform comes in with sharper audiences, which allow you to really go granular in the way you want to target audiences in the open internet, which today no other platform really offers. So, and the point to note is we do represent the buy side, right? So we are advertiser agency first. We do not own any inventory, like I mentioned. We are not an SSP. We work with the SSP. We work with the publishers. These are supply side partners like Magnite and Programmatic as examples. And we do connect the brand to the power of the open web, as I've mentioned, and all of this leading to really focusing on brand objectives and maximizing their results. So, as I close, I would love for you to just remember that as we build this journey along with partners like you, we do want to focus on making our brands and advertisers understand the power of audiences. How do you get to quality, more premium reach? And by the way, our publishers who have spent a lot of time with, along with my partnership team, are very clear that get us higher value for our inventory, because the kind of investments that we're making on content really deserves us to get much higher, and that's a good problem for us to solve. And all of this with really looking at transparent data, so we don't, like I said, grade our homework. We work with a bunch of measurement partners who you yourself would be working with in the ecosystem for your own data needs. So that's what we bring to the table, and our focus this year and beyond is going to be on retail media. You did see the slide on the measurement partners, as well as on our partnership with Swiggy, sorry, not Swiggy yet, but Zepto, as well as Big Basket. Connected TV, again, I'm sure the forum in the morning really spoke about the power of how connected TV is coming to forefront. Globally, in the US, we are very strong on the connected TV with multiple publishers, and in India that journey is probably 3 to 4 years old and only accelerating very, very fast. And finally, just bringing it all together with a very sharp audience-based buying approach. So that's our focus, and we'd love to partner with all of you in the room. I wish you a great time today at the forum, and thank you all for taking the time. Yeah, so this is it, Build for India, and I want to just leave you with this small meme. Thank you everyone for coming, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Dhruv. That was an amazing presentation. I'm sure it must have sparked some new ideas and thoughts in our audience's mind. And I would request Dhruv to please come back on stage as Rahul Puri will present token of appreciation. Can we have a huge round of applause before we move forward?